Hi friends, it's Juanita from It's Juanita at Home, and today I'm going to be making one of my family's favorites. It's a hamburger soup. Now there are a million recipes for this soup across YouTube. This is just my version. I hope you like it, and if you want to see how I make it, just keep watching. Okay friends, first we're browning up our hamburger here for the hamburger soup that I'm about to make. As you can see here, the hamburger's browning pretty good. The one thing I want you guys to remember about browning this hamburger is to make sure that you don't chop it up too fine. You know how when you're going through and you're just chopping everything up? For the soup, you want to have a little something in there for someone to taste and, you know, a good chunk of meat. So every now and then, just make sure you go through it sort of like this instead of the, you know, chopping back and forth. Okay? And now we're back. As you can see there, zooming into the meat, you see how the meat is pretty chunky, and it's all browned up. It won't, of course it there we go. How the meat is pretty chunky, it's all browned up, and you can see here how we have larger pieces in there. That's what you want. Now ordinarily you would go ahead and drain this fat from the pan, but I don't usually do that because I need that fat to provide some silkiness for the soup. If you want to drain it, of course you can to make it a little more healthy, but my family likes the soup pretty silky. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a can of Italian style fire roasted tomatoes, juice and all. You just pour that in there. Pour that in there. Stir it around. I'm trying to do this left-handed, so bear with me. There you go. Pour that in there. Stir it around. I've already put some salt and pepper in here when I was browning the ground beef. The next thing I'm going to use is my old-time favorite, which is this Perfect Pinch garlic and herb salt-free seasoning, which is delicious, by the way. So I just shake it in there pretty generously. Okay, that was almost a little too much, but not quite. There you go. And just kind of let these two sort of marry around in the pot. There you go. And you just let that set for a couple of minutes until it is, there we go, I just changed hands. That's much more easy this way. Then you just let this sit for a couple of minutes. Let the juices from the tomato sort of marry in with the ground beef, giving it a pretty good flavor. There we go. I feel like I need just a touch more seasoning. Yes, I do put a lot of seasoning in my food. My family sort of likes that. But you can do whatever works for you. Okay. So I'm going to turn this up just a bit because I really need the soup. I really need to start off boiling and then turn it down because it just helps all the flavors marry in the pot. There we go. Now the next thing that I'm going to put in here is the tomato soup. Now I use Progresso tomato and basil tomato soup. It's just the best for this type of recipe for me. I use 2 cans of it. There's one. Two. Then I put in a can of beef broth, Swanson's beef broth, the whole thing. There you go. Then we're going to bring this back up to a boil. Stir it around, make sure you get everything all mixed in really good. There you go. it smells so good so far. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. So there we go. There we are. Then I'm going to try and bring this up to a little bit more of a boil. I want all those flavors to sort of marry again, like I said. And you really don't have to use too many other seasonings because the tomato basil soup has a lot of basil and seasoning in it as well. So, you know, it kind of saves you time. Now, also, I do want to say that this soup is going to be sort of on the sweeter side because of the tomato basil. If you don't want it sweet, then don't use tomato basil. Just use just plain tomato soup. But I kind of like the flavor of the tomato basil. So we're going to let this come to a boil and I'll be right back. Okay friends, we're back, and as you can see, the soup is up to a boil, and you want it up to a boil because you're about to put in some frozen mixed veggies. These are the steam fresh family size frozen mixed veggies. I love these. They look delicious. They are delicious. So we're just going to dump the whole thing into the pot. There we go. And you need that up to a boil so that when you dump in the frozen vegetables, they don't drop they're going to drop the temperature of the soup. So there you go. And then you just stir this all around. As you can see, look how delicious this looks. Oh my goodness. It's got the mixed veggies in there, the tomatoes, the ground beef is in there. Ah, my goodness. This smells so good. And then we have one more ingredient to put in here in about 5 minutes, and that is a canned diced white potato. I don't want to put it in there now because it could cause it to get mushy and disintegrate. So you want to put that in towards the last, you know, couple minutes of cooking, just until they heat through. Okay friends, through the magic of YouTube, we've come right back, and this has been simmering. I had it up on a boil, and now it's been simmering for about 10 minutes or so. As you can see, the soup is very silky and shiny. Now I'm just going to add the potatoes. This is just a can of diced white potatoes to the soup, and I just dice these up myself. There you go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is a very hearty soup. It makes several servings. This is easily 2 dinners for a family of 5 or lunch for the next day. I'm going to pair this with some cornbread, and once it's finished cooking, I'll show you the results. Okay. Alright friends, this is the excuse me. This is the final product here. As you can see, this soup is delicious. It's thick, it's hearty. You can see the meat chunks in there. Now do you see what I mean where I say you just need to leave the meat in a more chunkier form with a piece of cornbread? That's dinner for tonight. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos.